Hello, Vloglog. How you doing this week? I'm doing quite well. Things are back in motion. I'm back at school, and I have all my equipment and stuff this time, so prepare for another rambly long video, because although Kevin may not have had such a long rambly video, we've had plenty of them this week, and those are my favorites. So, let's dive in, shall we? So, video games. Video games are great. I talked a little bit about my past in video games and kind of the retro stuff I'm into now, but I sort of left out a lot of stuff that I've been working on and playing around with in just relaxing and playing games and not trying to do world records or break games or anything like that. So currently my sort of go-to system is the Nintendo 3DS. I've had like every major game for that console, and it has some of my favorite games ever. The Professor Layton series, if you haven't played it, which is this sort of set of like puzzle games set in these really cool stories with like amazing like twist endings and mysteries, and they're absolutely great. Phoenix Wright is also another series of games that has come out on Game Boy and is recently ported to the 3DS in high-res graphical goodness. Is awesome. That you're a lawyer who's like, objection, all the time, and that's fun. I enjoy those games. I do have a Wii U, but I don't really play it that often. Like, the last time I actually sat down and, like, marathoned a game on that console was when Pikmin 3 came out. And if you haven't played any of the Pikmin games, if you have access to, like, a GameCube or a powerful computer that you can emulate GameCube games on, I would highly recommend the Pikmin series of games. It's like, no other game I've played. Well, okay, that's not quite true, but it's interesting. I mean, it's certainly a real-time strategy game, but I don't know, it's just like the funnest one I've ever played. You play as a guy who crashes a spaceship on a planet, and he has to go get all his parts using these little, like, Pikmin plant things that you can pick out of the ground and throw them all over stuff and attack stuff and carry spaceship parts back to the spaceship. And I don't know, that was my favorite game growing up, and once I got the console, once the GameCube came out in the game, like, that was more of, like, I don't know, later childhood, I would say. I continue to just hold true that I'm definitely a console person. Most of my time is spent playing games on consoles. My Steam library is fairly wimpy, and most of the games I play on there, I played like once, like Portal or something. I played Portal a couple times, that's a lie. Like I played through Half-Life once. The only game I revisit on a computer is Civilization 5, because that is like the best game on a computer. It's great. If you can get it on sale for like 10 bucks, because I've seen it on sale for that low, I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. You basically take over the world from the beginning of time, and it's so much fun, and it just, I don't know, video games are great for escaping for me, and because we've had these discussions, and now I'm going to go into wrap-up mode, we've had all these discussions about, like, the gender equality stuff, and how Niall asserts that video games are, like, the best form of art, and I don't see that. I certainly have friends who are game designers, and they're the game design major, because we actually have a really, really good, one of the best game design majors in the country at my school. So I've got friends who are really into game design, and they would totally agree with that sentiment. I just don't. I mean, maybe it's the type of game I play, maybe, I don't know. They're more of just an escape / time waster. Like, I have nothing to do. Well, I'm not going to be bored. Let's just go play a game and sort of take over the world and just have fun with it. And to some extent, a lot of the games I do play are like visual novels, you could say. Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright being ones that stand out very much in the forefront of my mind. There's a lot of text in those games, and I have no objection to a lot of text. Final Fantasy 3, well, 3 in America, 6 in the rest of the world, back on the SNES era of things, was another game that's very heavy on dialogue and very heavy on story. And that would be like, that's pretty much my favorite game on the SNES, I would have to say. And if not, it's certainly in the running for one of my favorite games of all time. And that does a really good job of telling a story, but I don't know if I would agree that it would be better than just reading a book about the same story. I don't know. It's possible, but that's, like, it's iffy on one of my favorite games of all time. It's certainly not going to hold true for a lot of other games, in my opinion. But it's going to vary from person to person, I think. That's definitely something I feel is more of an internal side, like, thing. Side thing? I don't know. It's definitely an internal decision and personal preference on that. And I don't think there's a way to sort of just uniformly state that this medium is best medium. Different mediums are going to have different effects on different people. And that's what I have to say about that. And just to finish the wrap-up, I'd like to make a couple notes on the sort of gender inequality in video games. I see that a lot. Again, because of the major at my school, there are certainly a lot more guys in that program than girls. And that's kind of like an offset of the CS department in some ways. I mean, a lot of people in that program are CS IMGD, which is Interactive Media Game Development, I believe. I don't know. Someone will probably correct me in the comments because there will probably be someone watching who's in that program, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, the point being, just like in the computer science industry, there's whole stereotypes built around how the thing is for guys and not for girls. And I don't like that. And I would like that to change. And I do agree with Jocelyn that it is changing. And that brings us to the final point of wrap-up. Welcome, Jocelyn. That was great. I enjoyed your video, again, because it was a long, rambly thing, which I think is perfect on Vloglog. Vloglog should be a lot of long, rambly things. So don't ever feel bad for that, Kevin. Moving on, it's Niall's birthday today, or at least it is when I'm recording this, and probably when it's uploaded, March the 21st. So happy birthday, Niall. What do you want for your birthday? I don't know. So in the spirit of Niall, let's complain about stuff. Because I want to complain about stuff. And I think it would be a good time to just complain about stuff and vent steam, because why not? First off, my heating system is powered by natural gas, so I have a natural gas pipeline that comes into my apartment and goes to my heater and heats my home, my apartment thing. And I have a company that delivers that gas, obviously. It's not just coming out of nowhere, and for some reason, for the past couple months, they've been giving me a bill estimate and not actually a bill. Meaning they don't know how much they were actually giving me. So I've been paying like a fairly low gas bill every month and wasn't realizing it. And suddenly it warmed up and they were like, okay, I guess we'll go figure out how much you actually used. Oh, you owe us over $200. I'm like, what? I've been paying like $35. Now I owe you over $200 because you hadn't been calculating it appropriately. Why didn't you just calculate it appropriately before? We have our driveway plowed. You can come look at the gas meters that are right over there. I don't like how a company can just be like, this is an estimate of what you're going to have to pay us. Why don't you just pay this now, and then just without warning we'll come along and sometime in the future and say, we need the rest of our money by this time next month, or you're going to be cut off, or you're going to be billed late fees, or you're going to be billed like garbage. And what? How is that legal? Why is that in the contract agreement I signed? Why can't I read contract agreements? That's another thing. Why aren't contract agreements, like this whole stupid legal terms and stuff that everyone always scrolls through and says, yes, I accept, I accept, I accept. Why aren't those in plain English? Like, or plain whatever German if you're from Germany, or plain Japanese if you're in Japan. Like, why do you need like a degree in law from Harvard and MIT? Does MIT even have a degree program for law? They probably do. Anyway, why do you need all that to be able to read your stupid heating agreement or your stupid video game agreement or whatever? Like, really? Why? Why can you just do this? And then, of course, what would you do if you disagreed with it? Like, okay, I guess I'll just be cold because this company's a monopoly in the region and I can't get natural gas from anyone else, so I suppose I'll have to sign yes anyway. And, well, that's just stupid. Although I do acknowledge that it would be really hard for every company to run a gas pipeline to this building, and that I shouldn't be upset by that, but like, what recourse would I have even if I could understand it? So maybe that's why it doesn't matter if I can understand this particular instance, but I'd like to know when, like, signing up for an email service or signing up for some random website that, oh, okay, they're gonna have access to this and not be able to barge down my door and steal my cat, because for all I know, that's what could be in those legal terms of agreement. Okay, I think I complained enough now. I look forward to seeing what Kevin has to complain about and the rest of the Vloglog crew, so I'll see you guys then, and I'll see the rest of you in a week. Bye!